making sure you can flow with life is important because there will be ups and downs. There'll be things we can't control. So having more spaciousness in your life and schedule allows you to navigate these things so much easier. Hello gorgeous souls, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos today. So today is part 2 in my nervous system series. I created a video a couple of months ago now on how the nervous system is the secret to unlocking abundance in the manifestation process. You guys absolutely love this, but the number one comment I got was, great, but how do I regulate my nervous system now? So I wanted to break these videos up into a series so it's, digestible information. And that video was an introduction to the nervous system on how it works, how it impacts our manifestations, more information based. Whereas this video, I want to give you all the tools, my best tips and practices for regulating the nervous system. So if you haven't watched that video and you want to learn what the nervous system is, the science behind it, all the technical terms, and how it impacts us, I'd really highly recommend going and watching that video first, so this video makes sense. But if you have watched that video, I don't want to dive too much into how the nervous system works because that video is the perfect video and part 1 of the series to describe that for you. But today we're going to be talking about tools, practices and methods that have really helped to regulate my nervous system that I want to share with you, that are my absolute go-tos in my nervous system toolkit. But if you're new here to my channel, then welcome. My name is Emma. I'm an award-winning life coach, 3 times best-selling manifestation author, law of attraction YouTuber, and I'm the host of the #1 spirituality podcast on iTunes, Aligned Abundance. And here on my channel, I cover all things law of attraction, manifestation, spirituality, and self-help. So not only do I really hope you're going to enjoy this video, but the abundance of videos here on my channel over the last 10 years. So part 1's video is linked below. It's also going to be somewhere in this video as well as a click through afterwards. So do go and have a watch of my introduction video to learn what the nervous system is. There's lots of great information in there, so I don't want to repeat too much information. But we work with the autonomic nervous system here in the work that we're working through with manifestation. The autonomic nervous system can be divided into 2 branches. So we have the parasympathetic branch and the sympathetic branch. So the sympathetic nervous system is responsible for fight and flight mode. It's arousing and what pipes up for us when we're in fight and flight and we're feeling aroused, we're feeling in that mode of panic and something is there to obviously cause danger. The parasympathetic nervous system is what we want to tap into more, which is the calming side of things. So calm, heal and digest are the key words of that parasympathetic nervous system. So to give you a brief overview, the nervous system is responsible for your manifestations. If you do not have a regulated nervous system, how on earth can you expect to hold your abundance? This was the biggest lesson I learned in my manifestation journey by discovering that I had a deeply unregulated nervous system, which meant my nervous system was determining my desires were unsafe, were gonna hurt me, so kept everything away from me as possible to keep me safe. The nervous system is primal. It does not care about your evolution or your self-growth. Obviously, back in the day, our nervous system was responsible for keeping us safe from tigers and bears and all of these things that were obviously threats to our life back in the day. Whereas nowadays, our nervous system is still very primal, but gets confused over what is actually a threat. So you scrolling through TikTok or, social media right before bed, your nervous system, sees something, oh my God, right, that's a threat. We need to go into unregulated nervous system mode. So although your phone is not a threat, your nervous system is determining the content you're consuming or the situation you might be in as scary, as something we need to run or, fight or flight from. So that's why you can feel unregulated whilst you're scrolling through social media, for example. But how this ties into manifestation is, I'll give you a really practical example. A couple of years ago in my business, I was hitting an income ceiling. No matter what I did, I was not getting past this ceiling. I tried all my mindset work. I tried absolutely everything until someone said to me, what does earning more money mean to you? And instantly it went, oh, more responsibility. And it was this dread, it was this fear, it was like this, oh my God, I do not want that. And at the time I felt really quite stressed and overwhelmed. So I was like, oh my gosh, I do not want more responsibility. I cannot hold more responsibility at all. So what was happening was my subconscious was telling my nervous system that more money meant more responsibility. And my nervous system was like, heck no, this girl cannot tolerate any more responsibility. She has enough on her plate. So we're going to keep that as far away from her as possible because we need to keep Emma safe. Now, obviously, having more money is not going to kill me. It's not a threat, but my nervous system deemed it a threat from that subconscious belief. So once I'd worked on rewiring my nervous system and mind to see that more money did not mean more responsibility, it meant more options. And actually my responsibilities would probably be less because I'd have more options. And within 2 weeks of doing this, literally, it was like a tap. The money just came, I hit the goal as if by magic. And it was effortless. And it was effortless because my nervous system felt safe enough to receive that desire. So in the manifestation process, there's a lot of talk about subconscious work, limiting beliefs, fears, and blocks, and they're still important. But as you can see from my example, it was blocking my nervous system, and my nervous system did not feel safe or regulated enough to receive that desire, meaning it was pushed away. So what our nervous system can do can energetically keep our desires from us if it thinks it's a threat. So what we need to do, and what nervous system work is in the manifestation sense, is working to regulate your nervous system, to show your nervous system it's safe to hold and sustain your desires. They're not going to hurt you. They're not these things that it's deemed scary or fearful. They are safe. So this is why it's important to, identify if the nervous system is feeling like this, because I see it a lot with money, especially where people's nervous systems are not regulated, but they want to manifest all that money, but they have similar statements like mine, or it doesn't feel safe, or there's a story or belief that is telling the nervous system it's not safe to have that more money, whether it's you'll lose your friends or, whatever. People will judge you. There's so many stories I've heard over the years from clients and you guys, my community. So the nervous system is responsible for how much we receive our abundance to. But again, I've done a whole video on this, so I don't want to talk too much about the hows because I want to talk about how we can regulate our nervous system. So first of all, I want to start off by sharing that the nervous system work is a journey of unpacking. This was not a one shoe fits all for me. No, it just wasn't. And it's like the inner work. No one shoe fits all. Everybody's approach needs to be, different, and obviously regulating for yourself. It needs to resonate with you, and how it will work for one person may work different for another person. And it's definitely been a journey of unpacking. It's been a journey of unfolding, a journey of leaning deeper into my nervous system and gradually showing my nervous system that it is safe. The nervous system is not something you can rush, because that is just dysregulation again. It's not something you can trick or convince. It has to be done authentically, and it has to be done in a way that teaches your body it's safe to trust, it's safe to release, and it's safe to hold that. So you are going to have to work at your body's own pace, which I know is frustrating. Believe me, it was for me too. But the body keeps the score. The body knows exactly what it needs, and it's time to reconnect to your body, reconnect your nervous system, and trust that your body knows exactly how to release that trauma, how to release those beliefs, and how to feel safe. Your body is actually extremely intelligent. We don't give it enough credit. So I do want to start off by saying it's a journey. It is an unfolding, and it's something that is timed to you and your unique journey, not a timeline that you can put on your nervous system to just magically release a belief or magically release things. I also want to share some extra tools. So I talk about the nervous system in Aligned Abundance, my new book. It is such a huge theme because of how impactful it's been in my life, and what a huge key it was to unlocking incredible abundance in my life, huge abundance in my life. So if you do want more on this, more practical tips, tools, Aligned Abundance is absolutely the book for you, because I really go deep into the nervous system work in this book, and I want to share some tools from the book with you to get you started with regulating your nervous system. But I also want to share some things that I have done personally as well, because I think it's helpful to see the bigger picture of all the things that I have done to regulate my nervous system over the years. So first of all, I want to talk about what an unregulated nervous system looks like, because some people watching this might be like, well, this makes sense and I get it, but how do I know if I am unregulated? What does that actually look like? Well, I know when I'm dysregulated because it will feel very stressful. I feel overwhelmed, overstimulated. I'll feel quite burnt out as well. That's quite a common feeling, but I'll feel tired, sluggish. I will procrastinate. I will need space. Like, I will just not reply to people for days because I just will not have the space to. I will just hermit away and not want to deal with anything. I will feel unmotivated, reactive sometimes, snappy, experiencing emotional roller coasters. You will struggle to make decisions because it will feel overwhelming. It also might be impacting your sleep as well. You might feel tense, lethargic, and also foggy memory, which is always one of the first things that comes up for me is my memory, and I just cannot make decisions. So if any of those resonate with you, it might be a sign that your nervous system needs some TLC. But what does a regulated nervous system feel and look like? For me, it feels peaceful. It feels expansive. It feels calming. I just feel quite literally at peace and in alignment. You'll find emotions easy to regulate. You'll be able to handle situations and changes easier. You'll feel calm, flowing, and present, motivated, optimistic, and engaged, adaptive, social, inspired, and creative. So those are some signs that you are feeling regulated and your nervous system feels supported. And as someone who has experienced anxiety, depression, and PTSD in my life, I know for a lot of it that my nervous system absolutely wasn't regulated. Now, that's not to say everybody with anxiety, depression, and PTSD have an unregulated nervous system, but the two do very commonly go hand in hand. And this work, especially for someone like myself, has been so important to be able to heal my anxiety, to heal panic attacks, and to move into a space of not experiencing PTSD or depression symptoms. But for anybody who is experiencing those particular things, EMDR therapy, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, was life-changing for me. I will say this until I'm blue in the face. EMDR is one of the best ways to regulate your nervous system. For me, it was absolutely essential. For someone who's maybe not navigating trauma and, really severe things, then you may not need this. The tips I'm going to give you in this video are probably more, suitable to you, and you'll see those big differences. But for someone like myself who has experienced a lot and needs that extra support, working with an EMDR practitioner or psychotherapist is my number one recommendation, because for me, I had to process what was causing the dysregulation as well. So we need to look at the root of the dysregulation. What is causing it? Is it overwhelm, burnout, bad decision making? Are you overcommitting? Are you, expanding yourself too much or spreading yourself too thin? Do you need to reclaim your power? A lot of the time for me, when I have an unregulated nervous system, is a call for me to reclaim my power. So I want you to repeat this mantra with me now. I reclaim my power and call back all the lost pieces of myself. How much better does it feel just from saying that? That is a mantra I repeat literally daily if I can, because I feel like taking back my power, reclaiming my sovereignty and my power is the first step to me regulating my nervous system. A lot of the time for me, personally, when I have an unregulated nervous system or something crops up, is because I've overcommitted myself. I'm doing too much, I'm overwhelmed, overstimulated, and my nervous system needs space. We also have different tolerances and windows of tolerance. So for someone who, like myself, has gone through trauma, has PTSD, my window of tolerance in what my nervous system is regulated and unregulated is a lot smaller than someone who has not gone through those things. Someone else might have a bigger window of tolerance, meaning they can handle a lot more. They don't just straight go into unregulated mode. They can actually tackle a lot more. Now, my window of tolerance has got better over the years with this work. EMDR has helped that, and the tools I'm about to give you. So recognize, what is your window of tolerance? When you have this awareness, it's so much easier to catch it and look and have the awareness of what is happening. Am I unregulated? Do I need to support myself? How can I support myself right now? But my number one step is reclaiming your power. Look at where you've made some bad decisions. Look at where you need to reevaluate to make sure that your schedule feels expansive, your day feels expansive, because you need to slow down to listen to that body. So my first tip is nature and sunshine. Nature is super healing and of course super regulating. Getting outside, getting some vitamin D on your face, on your skin, putting your feet on the grass, grounding in, fantastic ways to expand into your nervous system, regulate, ground, and relax. So for me, if I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed or something's happened and I'm feeling that dysregulation of chaos, I will just go outside and sit in nature for half an hour. I feel like nature has healed so much for me over the years just by being outside, just by being in nature. So it may not fix everything for everyone, but for me, it is such a great go-to, which really helps me to ground and connect back in to my body, my breath, and my center. Turning down the volume of life is next. For me, I get very overstimulated. I'm pretty sure I am definitely on the spectrum somewhere. I have OCD, so I am to some degree, but I know that I get very overstimulated. So for me, turning down the volume of life is super important when I'm feeling dysregulated. I know that I have a lot of noise sensitivities, like if people just ask me a lot of questions, I feel really overwhelmed. So I know that I have to communicate to the people around me of, I'm feeling dysregulated today. I just need a little bit of space. So I just turn down the volume. You know, if I need to take myself off and have time to myself, I will do that as well. And I just know now the things that help me and the things that help ground me in. So yeah, noise, being around a lot of people, I just take myself into that, you know, place where I can get regulated and turn down the volume and noise. And the same goes with like TV and shows as well. What shows are you watching? What are you reading? I know sometimes when I'm watching like a particularly like series where I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not sure how this makes me feel, or it's a little bit scary. If I'm having a dysregulated day, I cannot watch that show because it will literally just make it 10 times worse. So I do have to look at what I'm consuming, social media, the news, TV, books, just to make sure I'm not triggering myself more or dysregulating myself more. Hugs and embrace is another top tip I want to share with you. Physical touch is a great one. I know that Paul McKenna came on my podcast and shared havening, which is actually a really great tip. Go watch his video on YouTube. I'm going to give you a terrible demonstration there, but people love it. For me, I didn't feel it regulated me hugely. I actually prefer EFT tapping, which I'm going to get to, but for some people, havening is an actual great regulation tool. So I want to share it in case it helps you. But physical touch obviously releases oxytocin, hugging our loved ones, our pets, our children. Get those hugs and embrace them because that physical touch is so healing to the nervous system. Grounding yourself is also important. I mentioned it with nature, but even just doing a grounding meditation, I will pop mine below. This is my favorite thing to do every single day to ground me into my day and just create that expansiveness in my body and nervous system. So grounding, so important, centering, so important, whether that's putting your feet on the grass, a grounding meditation, or just taking some nice deep cleansing breaths with breath work. Next is making time to go with the flow. You need spaciousness. I know that the one thing I need when I feel dysregulated is spaciousness from people sometimes, but mainly my schedule, and mainly to just go a bit slower, to listen a bit more, not feel like I'm rushing around, going from one thing to the other. Like that is just going to make it 10 times worse for me. So making sure you can flow with life is important because there will be ups and downs. There'll be things we can't control. So having more spaciousness in your life and schedule allows you to navigate these things so much easier. And that includes self-care as well, looking after yourself, filling your cup, and make sure you are scheduling out quality time with yourself. Next is Shake It Off, the same Taylor Swift title, of course. And if you want to listen to Taylor Swift Shake It Off at the same time, highly recommend. Moving our body, shaking our hands, moving our body is a great way to move energy through you. We know this from a spiritual perspective, but it's great for the nervous system. When I'm feeling funky, when I'm feeling, stuck, or energy feels stuck and stagnant, it feels dense, I either go for a walk, get on my Peloton, do some dancing, shake it off, move your body. This is the quickest way to regulate your nervous system, but also move dense and heavy emotions through you and energy as well. Cold plunges is also another one recommended for regulating the nervous system. If you're a fan of the Wim Hof method, I do love a cold plunge. I'm not a big fan of the cold, but I will do it, especially when my nervous system needs support. You don't necessarily need to do cold plunging when you're not feeling dysregulated, but I do feel like it's a great reset for my body when I do need it and I am feeling that dysregulation. So if you want to try some cold plunging, highly recommend it. It's great fun, puts you out of your comfort zone, but it does also give your nervous system that important reset. A good night's sleep is also so important for the nervous system. I have sometimes got into terrible habits with sleeping and what time I go to bed, and I feel it the next day. I feel dysregulated. Whereas when I catch myself, go to bed earlier and have a good sleep hygiene, I am like a new woman. I feel so regulated. I'm able to handle things so much better. So getting a good night's sleep and good sleep habits is so important to support your body, your health, and the nervous system. And as I mentioned earlier, remove any overstimulating things right before bed. Do not be doom scrolling right before bed. That is the quickest way you could dysregulate your nervous system. So reading, meditating, journaling, anything soothing, calming, relaxing, breath work, nothing too activating, of course. Anything that gently helps you get into sleep is so important, so you're not going to bed stressed or dysregulated by scrolling through social media. EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, is one of my favorite ways to regulate my nervous system. I love just tapping on those karate chop points, which is here, and the meridian points to just calm and regulate myself. I don't use it all the time, but definitely if I'm feeling stressed in a situation or I can't maybe turn to my other tools in that moment, EFT is a great technique that you can just literally do straight away. Brad Yates is the king of EFT here on YouTube. We love Papa Yates here. So I'll link his channel below. There are videos for literally anything, any emotion, anything that you're navigating on his channel. Over the last like 15 years, he's done this. So whether it's a Brad video or you just tap your own meridian points, for me, such a great way and a quick way to regulate back in. Yoga, especially child's pose, is fantastic for the nervous system. I always feel like a new woman after doing child's pose. So even if you just did child's pose daily, if you can, or if you're doing a particular yoga practice, incorporating child's pose into it is a fantastic way to reset the nervous system. I feel so calm and so grounded after doing yoga, and this is because it's fantastic for the nervous system. Walking is also another great recommendation, falls into obviously moving your body, but walking and getting out in nature, again, just moves energy through you, connects you to nature, get some vitamin D on your skin as well, on your face, which does help to regulate the nervous system. So for me, if I can't do any big movements or anything like that, and I'm just like, you know what, I fancy a dog walk, that's a great way to just a quick reset of the nervous system. And finally, cutting down caffeine and sugar. This was a big one for me. I haven't drunk coffee and caffeine in quite a few years anyway, but I definitely can see how it was dysregulating me before. But sugar is one that does actually, I have to watch, because if I have too much sugar, I do feel it actually contributes to feeling dysregulated. So it may not be the same for everybody. Some people might be watching this thinking like, I'm absolutely fine drinking coffee and sugar. Again, it's what works for you and your nervous system and what feels the most expansive for you. Same with alcohol. Like, you know, water obviously is the best thing that you could have to regulate the nervous system, or maybe even a cool favorite beverage of yours brings you a lot of joy. But just watch these things because they can negatively contribute to an unregulated nervous system sometimes and just not be helpful. So just see how you feel. If you want to try cutting them down a bit or cutting them out, and then if you notice no difference, you can obviously incorporate them back in if you want to. Now, in my book Aligned Abundance, I do go into each of these tips that I've just shared in way more depth and why they regulate the nervous system, but this video will probably be 2 hours long if I shared all of that. So I do highly recommend going and checking out the book if you want more on this. And I want to share quickly the two things that have really helped me on top of the tips that I've already shared. EMDR therapy was absolutely the number one thing for me that I would recommend to every single person if I could for nervous system regulation, but also spinal energetics. This was something I came across at the end of last year and I was super skeptical, but I could feel my body wanted to release some trauma. And I came across spinal energetics on TikTok and it just intrigued me. If you go have a look at it, you'll see what I mean, because you'll be like, what is happening here? It intrigued me and I instantly knew like, I need to try this. So I started working with an amazing practitioner in America. We did Zoom calls for our sessions. And honestly, it was the best thing I did for my nervous system. I have so much more capacity in my nervous system now. It blew my mind in the most incredible ways of how powerful it was. And I do think it's actually really helped me to be able to step into this new era of my nervous system, as well as all the things I've shared with you as well. So If you want to, do extra things, work with someone, I'd really recommend those two therapies and modalities to take this nervous system work even deeper. I never really heard of spinal energetics before. I will obviously recommend the woman that I worked with down below because she's fantastic, and just really, really helped me navigate what I was going through. And I do feel like my nervous system is a whole new nervous system since that work. So it's really interesting how we can find modalities that support us and, share what's worked for you as well if you've come across some things that I haven't mentioned. So there you have it. There is your basics of getting started with the nervous system. I've shared some extra support as well and resources if you want to take that work a little bit deeper, but Aligned Abundance is the book to work with if you want to reset your nervous system and work with all of these tools on a much deeper level. And I'm sure this would absolutely not be my last video on the nervous system as well. This is definitely a series, so there'll be more coming. So let me know in the comments what you would like to know about the nervous system or nervous system and manifestation work primarily, and I will absolutely create some more videos on this moving forwards. But thank you so much, gorgeous souls, for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below because I reply to them all. And don't forget, you can also join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. I hope you have an incredible week, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love.